the vintage rod of the day. A custom built fiberglass Daiwa VIP. Man, that's a beautiful rod right there, man. I mean, you're talking about fiberglass. This is the ultimate cranking rod right here. Cranking top water rod, man. It's just, but it's heavy. I mean, it weighs a little bit. It's just a beautiful piece of work. I love this thing. Anyway, you ready to run and guns? Time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101. The year in review. I thought I would just do a short little video about things that I was learning throughout this past year. And, as far as lures, rods, tackle, line, and other things. There's a lot of fishing I did that I didn't film. For the simple fact that I wanted to go out, I wanted to test out certain techniques, certain lures, certain rods, just different things in general, and just didn't want to have the hassle of trying to move around with the camera and try to do all that kind of stuff. But now I have the ability in the canoe now to actually keep the phone plugged and keep it running the whole entire time and just edit out what I don't need. So that's actually going to be a lot easier now. But for this past year, I went from the kayak to the canoe, and I just about got the canoe completely completed. I'll do a walkthrough on that too. But things I've learned, I have really learned to listen to myself as far as what my strengths are in fishing. This all kind of comes back down to simplify your fishing. This is not a simplify your fishing episode, but it really does come down to that, because I'm like you guys, or a lot of you guys, I'm trying to simplify everything and really get down to what I like to do. And over the course of the year, I managed to finish building my rods, my MHX Elites, and love them. And unfortunately, I was unpacking one with a rod sleeve, getting ready to go fishing a couple of months ago, and I heard something go as I was pulling the thing off, and I thought it may have been hung on one of the guides. Oh, I pulled it off, and the rod tip was missing. It was hanging inside the rock sock. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And that was an MHX rod. And unfortunately, I had to modify the rod a little bit to the length I needed, so it's not under warranty. But, you live and learn. But that really bummed me out, and I was kind of like, man, seriously? So I'll eventually replace that one. But that really got me thinking a little bit. I was kind of like, man, I got these 6'10" and almost 7 foot long rods, and I'm having to do this and I'm having to do that. And when I walk through the doors in the house, I have to make sure the rod tips are down and everything else, and the ceiling fans aren't on in the kitchen. And getting out of the house, there's an awning outside the kitchen door, and I usually run into that with the rod tips. So I got to thinking, I was like, man, these 5.5, 6 foot rods are a blessing whenever I grab them and take them out to the boat. And so am I leaning towards that more 5.5, 6 footers, more pistol grips or whatever? That's a possibility. My current project right now is to take old True Temper, or Pfluger made some, I think, under the True Temper patent, but the old speed locks. And I'm actually thinking about maybe doing something with those. I've already got a couple of them. If you've seen some of the pictures I've posted on YouTube of working on some of these, I actually have performance blanks that I have cut down to install in these things, and actually take the old school type setup and go with brand new rods. So, or rod blanks. So that's just something I've been kind of playing around with, and I'm still debating on either, like the Daiwa PS10s that I've been using for years, or another reel that I love a lot. It's just kind of bulky on a pistol grip, is the old Daiwa Millionaires from the 70s. If you've watched the classic combo series I did, they were all Millionaires. And so it's just, rods, I have an idea. I'm just still not in concrete yet. As far as what I'm going to do, as far as lures, um, I've really noticed I have knocked down everything. I've noticed that if I do finesse fish, it's a slider. And I haven't done any slider videos this year. And the whole reason is because I know that's my crutch bait. So I haven't done any videos on it this year yet because, like I said, I've been using this whole year to kind of look into other things. And I've tried other riggings with the slider hook and just other stuff that I've been playing around with as far as crankbaits. I've been going to a lot of the old original crankbaits this past year, like the Scouts, the Bombers, the old original pre-Rapala Hot and Tots, things like that I don't normally fish very often at all, and I just wanted to take them out, throw them, and play with them, and see if that's something I might want to add to the arsenal overall. As far as soft plastics, I've been doing several different types of soft plastic things, and just kind of coming around that. And there's some baits I really haven't thrown because I know I'm going to be fishing them. So there's no sense in experimenting with those when I already know what they do. And that's just kind of one of the things that I've really put on myself this year, is just to try different things and see if I can catch any bass, or just to see if I like the technique. A lot of people don't throw certain techniques and they just don't like it. I mean, look how many guys don't deep crank because that's a lot of work, and that's just not the kind of fishing they want to do. I'm kind of sort of one of those guys. Normally, if I'm going to throw a deep crankbait, for me, it's a Norman DD22. That's pretty much. I've caught more bass off a DD22 deep cranking than I have any other thing, and so if I ever did that, that's the bait I would throw. Spinner baits, I've experimented all different kind of spinner baits, and I tend to like the vintage, the old Strike Kings, the old Bombers, just because it's a bait that bass don't see anymore. It's a vibration they don't feel anymore. It's a sound they don't hear anymore, and especially with the old rubber skirts. Now, I've thrown silicones and I've thrown rubbers this past year, just experiment and see which one I like better, off and on. And I'm just a flat skirt rubber guy. I like that over silicone, hands down. Jigs. I've been throwing jigs a little bit. Just this hasn't been a big bait for me this year, so I haven't thrown them probably in about 6 or 8 months. I just kind of put them aside because I know that when I do ever catch a bass on a jig, it's usually a good fish. So I've kind of put those on the back burner a little bit. But as far as fishing different water, I'm hoping to maybe in this year we do have a reservoir here where I live, and it's actually supplies the water for the area, and it's a 10 horsepower or less lake, and it's a pretty good sized lake. I mean, it's not huge, but it's not real tiny either. And I might look into going there. I wouldn't mind taking the canoe there because, like I said, it's 10 horsepower or less. So I'm not worried about stupid jet skiers, and I said stupid jet skiers, and the pleasure boaters and stuff that just don't understand the rules of the water. So I don't have to worry about them. So that's the only reason I don't go to main reservoirs in my kayaks or my canoe. I stay away from those. And I like the smaller waters, like the rivers, and I think a lot of you guys are the same way. And especially from the emails and the texts and everything else that I get. So the year in review is just basically, look at what I did this year, what I didn't do this year, because I know it's going to be something I'll be doing. And, throwing things and fishing certain techniques and throwing certain certain tackle and stuff like that I just don't have a lot of confidence in, to see if I can build a confidence in it. And everybody's different. But it's been a really interesting year, and like I said, this is what I've been doing this year, and and I'm sorry I didn't film a lot of it that I wanted to, but I was really just concentrating on what I was doing rather than trying to have to film with or fool with pause and play, and everything else. And like I said, now I've got it to where I can run the camera on full time. So that's been a blessing. And if you've seen the video of cold water jerk baits, that was my first video just leaving the camera on. So it was nice to be able to make a cast and actually hook the fish rather than having to push play when I had the fish in my hand. So that was definitely a lot easier, and I can just, whatever I was thinking, I just blurted out. It was just a lot easier just to film the whole entire way. So the cold water is going to be a newer version of some of the on the water stuff. So I really enjoy that, and or really enjoyed that, and look forward to doing more of that in the on the water footages. So there's a lot I've learned this year, and doing when you have a channel like this, you learn, and you come up with your own ways of doing things, and you kind of look at how other people do things and everything else. But I enjoy it, and I'm glad you guys get to come with me when I'm on the water. I like sharing my experiences with you guys, and as far as in studio stuff, just things that are on my mind or things I want to share, whatever. I'm really thankful for a lot of the input I get from you guys. It's more than just the comments. Like I said, I get emails and texts and everything else, and make some pretty good buddies on here, and loving that. And I just love the reaction I get from you guys, and I just think it's awesome. And some of you guys crack me up too. Some of your comments, but it's just crazy. I got buddies from Canada all the way through the country, and I even got some overseas. That's crazy. But it's awesome. And so I love doing the channel. I love you guys being here, and thanks so much for being here. And to you new subscribers, thank you so much for coming aboard, and looking forward to offering more information, stuff that I learned, and I don't mind passing to you. So I love doing it, and I'm sitting here rambling. So anyway, just wanted to put the year in review, let you know what I've been doing and what I've learned, and it's coming down to it. I mean, as far as simplify your fishing, it is coming down to it. And I mean, like I said, I'm right there at it. And unfortunately, I got the new Mr. Twister catalog in, and of course they've offered new worm colors in the Phenom, and of course one of them is Blue Fleck. If I only had one color to throw in a plastic worm, it would be Blue Fleck. And I've been on to them for years to make Blue Fleck in a Phenom, so they've got it. So now I have to rethink of all my worm situations now, as far as simplifying everything. So, you guys are bass fishermen, you know how it is. Anyway, that's all I have, guys. Thanks for being here. And so until next time, may the Father bless you and keep in Yeshua's name. And as always, fish on. Ain't that thing purty?